attention, à présent, j'ai envie de dire c'est un peu mon coup de cœur de ce forum. C'est un monsieur exceptionnel. Il est indien. Le Time of India le qualifie d'homme susceptible de changer l'Asie. Alors, il va s'exprimer en anglais, mais je vais vous le présenter un petit peu avec mon cœur, comment moi je l'ai découvert dans mes lectures pour préparer son entrée. Eh bien, celui donc qui va monter sur scène a un parcours de vie incroyable, et je pense que ça n'est pas terminé. Il a osé changer de vie plusieurs fois. Il a osé voir le monde différemment, un monde où chacun peut apporter à l'autre son savoir-faire pour une vie meilleure. Alors, il est donc fils d'instituteur, il est passé par de brillantes études en génétique, il a tout abandonné pour devenir banquier. Et justement, son cursus au niveau de la banque lui a amené à dynamiser le réseau bancaire dans les régions les plus reculées. Au contact des victimes du système, comme il les appelle, il découvre leur bon sens, leur créativité pour survivre quotidiennement. Et il est convaincu que leur savoir-faire traditionnel est une richesse considérable qu'il est nécessaire de valoriser. Alors, il écrit, il vend ses ouvrages et il connaît un franc succès. Et là, boum, il décide encore de changer de vie parce qu'il gère mal l'idée de gagner de l'argent en se servant de ce que les autres font. Cette conversion, comme il le dit, psychologique, philosophique et spirituelle, l'amène en 1989 à créer le réseau Honeybee. Honeybee, c'est l'abeille qui butine, mais sans appauvrir la fleur. Je vous demande d'accueillir ANIL GUPTA, fondateur du réseau Honeybee et professeur de management de l'innovation dans les pays émergents à l'European Business School à Berlin et professeur également à l'Indian Institute of Management. Il nous fait l'honneur d'être ici avec nous aujourd'hui pour nous parler de ce réseau formidable. Plus de 36 000 postes qui servent à tout le monde. Voilà, je vous laisse découvrir in English ce qu'il va nous faire découvrir. Mr. Gupta, Anil Gupta, applaudissements. Please join us.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space.
Good afternoon. I have come here to share with you a story of 25 years in maybe less than 25 minutes. So it's going to be very short, crisp. But let me also thank the organizers for having me here, because the theme, Let Us Dare France, is so stimulating, so exciting. It implies that when it comes to learning about creativity, about innovations, there is no boundary. There is no boundary of organizations. There is no boundary of sectors. And there is no boundary of sections of society. And this is the theme of my talk, that we can learn from anybody, anywhere, anytime. And if we can do that, we can transform any country, any society. To give you an example, in India, we have 20 million people traveling by train every day. I don't know, in France, maybe 0.2 million. And if we were to pose a problem that our society is facing, or French society is facing, and ask people to SMS their ideas, you will get, in a day, millions of ideas. In India, we have 150,000 post offices, 650,000 villages. One post office for every 4 villages. If I send an announcement seeking ideas to 650,000 villages through 150,000 post offices, I can involve every citizen of the country in getting ideas. My point is, if we really want to dare France, then we have to seek ideas from everybody. And this network, Honeybee Network, essentially does 3 things that we intellectuals don't do. It connects flower to flower. So I'll share with you ideas from China, India, Malaysia, UK, all over the world. And hope that you will do the same when you go back and send mail to your friends about how creative ideas can be obtained, can be mobilized from anywhere. Second, it doesn't leave, the honeybee network doesn't leave the people anonymous. So when as you can see on the logo, when an individual who is nameless, faceless, comes in contact with the network, gets an identity. And third, if any value addition is done, or without that, if any benefit is generated, a reasonable share must go to the provider of ideas. These are the three principles we started with in 87, 88. And I must say that slowly and slowly the world is changing. People are beginning to realize that ideas must be acknowledged, must be reciprocated, must be attributed, and there must be a place in which just because some people are generous, they don't remain poor. Please think about it. Because people are generous, they share their ideas openly, should they remain poor? No. Their ideas, their generosity, their openness should not be discounted. No matter where we are, no matter who you are, no matter wherever, from whomsoever we want to learn, we can get the ideas. Recognize, respect, reward are the three key principles for seeking ideas from anywhere. We must recognize them, respect them, and reward them. Now, look at some problem that we face in our society and many other developing world. This is a problem. The fellow who is carrying so much load on his back is still smiling. Why does this inertia of solving this problem not get addressed? So there are a large number of problems. You must all have taken a cup of tea, most of you. And very seldom would you realize that when you take a cup of tea, the tea birds are plucked from the tea bushes one by one, like this. Now, if you do this action 2,000 times, you would know how much pain you will have in your shoulders and elbow. 2,000 times at least, maybe 3,000 times. That's what the lady who collects the tea leaves every day does. We wouldn't be able to, and for 200 years, this inertia has persisted. So what I'm trying to say that the consumers of the benefits of this world, whether it is tea or other things that I will show you, we somehow don't seem to get disturbed by the inertia. So let me show you another example of inertia. You will possibly eat rice at the lunchtime, and you know how the paddy is transplanted in India? 90% of it is transplanted manually in a back-bending posture. Now imagine for days and days, women put their feet in the water, they develop ulcers, pain, back aches, and somehow we live with this pain. So one of the first things that we must remember what Honeybee Network is trying to do is to say, no further, no more, we must solve these problems and involve people in solving these problems. So we will not live with problems unsolved indefinitely. So look at this simple example. Here you have on the left-hand side a 70-euro windmill. A 70-euro windmill. A bamboo windmill in Assam developed by Mehtar Hussain and Mushtaq Ahmed, two small innovators, to pump water for irrigating their field by using a hand pump. This was brought to Gujarat for further improvement. Now it costs about 900 euros. It saves diesel, oil, worth 700 euros in one season because people had to use diesel engine to pump the brine water to make salt. What is the innovation in it? The innovation in it is there is no gearbox. So what does it mean? It means that if you have to irrigate a field, instead of 4 hours, you do it in 40 hours, doesn't matter. We, the professionals, the engineers of the world, the designers of the world, are so constrained by the assumptions of our profession that we can't think simply. These innovators have that quality. They can think simply. So when you don't have a gearbox, you don't maximize output per unit of time. You know what? If irrigation is given slowly, it is good for the soil, good for the crop. It will leach less nutrients. And there's no rush. Plants would not bother if they get enough water in 2 days or 3 days. So we should not impose constraints. That's the first lesson of our network of the last 24 years. Don't impose constraints which don't add real value in terms of ecological, ethical, equity, or other efficiencies in our work. We are unnecessarily imposing so many constraints and make our economy less efficient. Those constraints which were not necessary from the natural point of view or sustainability point of view. Curiosity is thy nature, indifference is ours. I would like to show you how we can learn from children Young kids, class 1 onwards. The youngest kid whom we have given an award for innovation is class 1. How can we learn from informal sector? People not trained, a farmer, an artisan, a cobbler, anybody on the street. How can we learn from technology students? India has about 1 million students of engineering and other discipline graduating every year. How do we learn from them? We have created a portal, which I will show you later, techpedia.in, where we have got 100,000 projects done by 350,000 students. So we have mapped the mind of our country in terms of 545 districts. We have mapped the mind of the children. We have mapped the mind of tech students and, of course, professionals. Why are we doing this? Because we are hungry for ideas. We are hungry for innovations. Innovations very seldom have their own legs. So therefore, we must remember that creativity can be found anywhere. And please remember, innovations have a habit of being surged. They don't walk on their own. So if we really want to harness innovations in France, we will have to go to the people through students in this vacation, through other professionals, through whatever other media that you have, and seek out creative people. They don't carry a notice board outside their home that I have got an idea. It has to be found out. A mind on the margin is not a marginal mind. So let me show you some ideas which we learned from children. The most redeeming thing about children, not only in our country but all over the world, is they are much less patient with inertia than our generation has been. That is the most promising thing I can say about future. They are not wanting to live with problems unsolved. So let us see the right-hand side, that little kid, the boy that on the right-hand side, what did he think about? Of course, it's a very practical problem. When children have cell phones nowadays, their parents want to know what they are talking about. Not a good idea. So he thought about the oscillograph in the cell phone will capture the way you walk, the gait, and make it into a password, so your cell phone in my hand will not work. Because I walk differently, you walk differently. Every individual in the world walks differently. Walks differently. Sorry. So look at the other innovation. Here is an idea where you go to bus stand and railway station, you don't have a place to sit. Nisha thought about an idea. Why can't we have a folding seat in this stroller? Good idea. Very practical. Many companies may not have thought about. She thought about. Now it's going to the market. Look at this boy, Chris Ananth from Tamil Nadu, south of India. He saw his father doing vacuum cleaning. And he had those shoes which make sound. You know, little children many times have shoes which make sound when they walk. So he asked his father, why do my shoes make sound? Father said, there is a whistle. Oh, Chris said, that means air must be going out. Father said, yes. Then air must be coming in. Father said, yes. Then he said, why can't my shoes become vacuum cleaner? Now imagine a kid of 5 years can conceptualize and apply a concept to a practical utility and get, of course, an award from our former President, Dr. Kalam. Now, this is not unique to India. Let us see next. This boy, Mayank Walia, thought about a very simple idea. You have a scanner. All of us have used a scanner, which converts printed text into digital text. All of us know that there is this open source software which converts text into speech. Combine the two, a blind person can read any book. You don't need Braille books anymore. What a sweet idea. When it was suggested, there was no such product in the market. Now the question is, these kids are empathetic. They're not thinking only about their problem. They're also thinking about the problems of those who suffer or who are disadvantaged. This boy, Abhishek, thought about a food-making machine. Now he was away in the hostel. He remembered the dishes that his mother made. So he designed a small chip, a very interesting design, and he attached to the machine different ingredients of a recipe will fall in different sequence in the tray and cook the dish the way his mothers did. I'm not trying to make mothers redundant or dispensable. But what I'm trying to say is, if you want to replicate a recipe in the way it is cooked by a mother or sister or whosoever or a father, you can do that. There is not a machine of this kind anywhere in the world. This is the model, further design that has been done of that machine, and it will be in the market in few months' time. This is a kit from Malaysia. I was in Malaysia helping their Malaysian Innovation Foundation to think about how they should scout innovations in their country. And they said, Professor, can you prove us that ideas can be found anywhere? I said, okay, call up some school nearby. So in the Ministry of Science and Technology and Innovation where I was sitting, they called up somebody. At a half an hour notice, we went to the school. Impromptu workshop we had. We asked children to come out with new ideas, just in about 15 minutes. And many ideas that came out, I'll show you. So this kid was very worried that many times people steal things. And how do you catch the thief? Because by the time you make a sketch of that person, it will take a few days. Thief would have run away. So he said there should be a handheld device. On the device, you have different kinds of mustaches, different kinds of eyes and eyebrows, ears, chin, nose. You keep on describing the thing, the police will make a sketch on the spot, and in a few minutes, they'll be able to catch the person. Good idea. We still don't have a device like this anywhere in the world. But once it is made, you can imagine the crime rate can really be controlled. This kid thought about, in 2006, I'm talking about, 2005, I had gone to Malaysia at that time, first time. Then these kids said, there must be a selective device which will divide the trash into different categories, glass, paper, biomass, others, and put them into different bins. Even if people don't sort, the device should be able to sort. This is amazing. This boy thought about an innovation which happened only 2 years back. Till 2 years, we didn't have a projector in a cell phone or any other handheld device. Now we have. This kid thought of this idea 6 years ago. 6 years ago. He was 6 years ahead of the technology of the companies in the world. So any one of you who believes that I'm talking about something which is not real, look at this idea. It is published in Honeybee, volume 17, issue 3, July, September 2006. So you can read on the web. So please appreciate that kids have not to be just talked to for fun or amusement. They are serious participants in the innovation ecosystem. They're talking about ideas that can make a difference to this world and make their life better, convey the idea. Now, when we go for walk every 6 months, we go for Shodh Yatra. Shodh means to explore, Yatra means journey. So we walk every 6 months. Summer, we go to places which are hot. Winter, we go to the places which are cold. And in autumn, I go with my students. I have walked for about 5,000 to 6,000 kilometers in the last 15 years in different parts of the country. And we carry this projector in cell phone to show in those villages ideas where there's no electricity. This would have been possible if there were no kids to imagine this. This is a little student from class 4 from London, Whitmore. Peter Day, who is a BBC correspondent, he was walking with us in one of the walks. His wife, Romy, teaches in a school in Whitmore, primary school. She said, Anil, you're trying to prove that anybody can innovate. Talk to my class. So she took a video camera, asked me to talk for 10 minutes, went back, showed it to her class, and came out some fascinating ideas. One of the ideas was a car that swims in the water, runs on the road, and uses wind energy for navigation. Oh, well, we don't have a car like that, but maybe someday we will have. This is from China. We have very strong honeybee network outside of India. The strongest network is in China. About 3,000 to 4,000 grassroots innovations have been discovered. There's a conference we are organizing in December, International Conference on Creativity and Innovation at Grassroots, ICCIG, December 3rd to 5th in China, Tianjin, and 7th to 8th in Ahmedabad. Now, what has this boy done? He realized that when he himself used to play, his shoes smelled. Many of you, because of the way your perspiration is, your shoes smell when you come home. And your wife wouldn't like, your children wouldn't like to have your shoes inside. And they said, please keep it out. And you don't want to keep your costly shoes out. So there's a solution here. Now, this stand has UV light on each branch. Now, UV, you know what it does, ultraviolet light? It disinfects, it kills all the organisms. The smell comes when organic matter putrefies. When there is a decomposition of organic matter, the smell comes. Now, this little boy has thought about an innovation on the edge, using ultraviolet light to freshen your shoes, so shoe freshener. I wish this will be available worldwide. This is a very interesting idea, too, from a kid who was not able to get up even when the alarm will ring. Many of you had this problem, isn't it? You want to get up in the morning, and an alarm would not make you get up. So he said, why don't we do that? An Indian innovator also thought about the same problem. Malaysian and Indian people were thinking the same way. So you have an alarm clock. It will wind a bottle of water, and then on your face falls the water, and you better get up now. there is nothing you can do to avoid. You know, one of the things that I'm trying to stress time and again is the frugality. How can we learn from people who are frugal, for whom there is no culture of junk? Please let me explain to you that one reason why some of the societies in the world, European societies, are facing problem is, and we all know what is happening in Greece and other countries, we somehow live beyond our means in terms of sustainability, in terms of capacity of the economy and the environment to bear the burden of our lifestyles. And the time is coming that we have to redefine our lifestyles. At that time, it will be useful to listen to people who live very frugally, very, very frugally. And how do we learn from them? We have different kinds of innovations in Sashti's database: institutional innovation, educational innovation, technological innovation, and cultural creativity. So let me take to you the word of culture. And I know France pays so much attention to culture. Now, these people who have wonderful art, folkloric people, you know why they make this wall painting? When somebody falls sick in Panch Mahal in Gujarat, they will pray, the tribal people will pray, and they will say, okay, if my person, my son or my daughter, my brother gets well, I will get a wall painted. What a way of praying. And then these paintings come about. Look at this lady, Bhabi Mahato from Bengal, Purulia. We were walking, and when I saw this wall, I couldn't walk further. It was impossible to walk further because it was so beautiful. So we said, let us see, what has she done? And you know why she did it? Because she had not heard of Maslow. All of you must be aware about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There couldn't be a theory more wrong than that. It's time that you all realize it, please. There is no reason why we can not go to the highest order of goals in our life, the enlightenment and whatever have you, without having to go through the entire cycle of accumulating. This lady had nothing in her house and yet could think about creativity. On dung cake's wall, she could think about design. There are different kinds of designs, colors, patterns. This person had nothing much in the house. There was not even a box in the house, in this hut. And yet, look at the flower pots on a rack. The person wants to make his own aesthetics life better, but also wants to contribute to the aesthetics of the environment. I wish they continue to remain ignorant of Maslow, because all of us who have learned about Maslow do not aim at higher order goals in our life till we think we are there. But actually, we'll never be there if we don't. So what are the lessons? One of the lessons is technology is like word, institutions are like grammar, and culture is like thesaurus. There is no other way that you can bring about innovative ecosystem without integrating all the three. You have to integrate all the three. It is not just building block. It is not the technological building block. It is not the institution, the rules of life, rules of decision-making, norms by which we make our decisions. And it is not just the culture. All the three have to be integrated. How do we do that? Unless we become hungry to look for green innovations, green ideas, for inclusive development. By inclusive, I mean those who are on the margin should not be left out. So the question then arises, should we take care of innovation only when it falls out of the place? I must admit very honestly that it took us many, many years before we could develop a system, National Innovation Foundation in our country, which now is able to provide some support to the grassroots innovators. But for the professional students, I still don't have a system to support. And students, I will show you their ideas, amazing creativity that these boys and girls are achieving. So how hungry should we be for ideas? And why should ideas come only from France, or only from India, or only from China? Why shouldn't I look around the world and get ideas and then deploy them? In 2009, when President Obama was trying to invest billions of dollars in stimulus fund, I wrote an article in World Watch Journal. And I said, if only he could spend 10% of the stimulus fund, which were actually used to give bonus to the officers, to the company executives for failing in the companies, for seeking ideas from around the world and incubating them, their society would have been transformed and the global context of the innovation would have changed. I still hope that somebody in France would rise to the occasion and think in this light. Why don't we seek ideas from wherever they are, add value, turn them around, provide design input, and then generate wealth for everybody concerned, including the people who give ideas. That is the word that we have to create. Look at this idea. Now, here is a scooter, which was also shown in the film Three Idiots, very popular, one of the most popular film of our country. And there is a washing machine on a scooter. So you take a scooter to somebody's house who's a bachelor, doesn't have time to wash the clothes. You give your soap, you give your water, he will wash the clothes at your doorstep and go away. A mobile washing machine. A new service model, a new service model, new service model. We need such things because we can't afford to create laundromat or a set of laundry machines every mile or every 5 miles. And if we don't do that, some people suffer because they can't afford to buy one, and at the same time, they need the service. So inclusive development means providing mobile facilities to people at their doorstep. It could be old people, it could be young. Old people, even if they have the machines, they will not find it always easy to wash and then to spread the clothes on a sling to dry them, all of that. Somebody can do that for them. This is an amphibious cycle. The video is available at YouTube. You should see that under NIF or India Innovates. And this is a cycle he made at the age of 75. Now, please remember, there is no age bar for innovation. At any age, you can innovate, any age. So anybody who is young or old, and of course, that age is a relative term. I still think I'm very young, and some people may think I'm very old. It depends. But at any age, we can innovate. We can transform ideas. Look at this beautiful community innovation. I have walked on this bridge in Meghalaya, northeast of India. These people in Cherrapunji, the place which receives the highest rainfall in the world, have created a bridge of living roots of trees on two sides of the river. Can you imagine? You can walk on this living bridge. Can there be a better example of green architecture? Everything is sustainable here. There's not a single thing here which will ever cause any burden on environment. And it serves the purpose. It becomes stronger. The roots keep on growing, bind around these little stones that have been kept on the path, and the bridge is living. Bridge is living. Ethics, institution, cooperation. Build upon a thing in which poor are rich, their values, their knowledge, their institutions, their cooperation. This is a wall. We were walking in one of our 6-monthly walk, Shodhyatra, in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, and we saw this wall. And it was amazingly clean, so I thought it was a new wall. We went inside. It was a weaver's house, a handloom weaver. And that house, when we went inside, looked at least 30, 40-year-old. So we said, how did you keep this wall clean? Have you painted it recently? He said, no, it is 30-year-old. Now, please look at any wall in Paris or Lille, any other place. You will find black patches. Why do black patches come? Because when the winds bring the organic matter, there is some fungus or bacteria which decomposes that, and then there's a black patch created, like rust. Now, on this wall, there was no microbial growth. So you have now an antibiotic surface. Now, if I have to do that in modern science, I will have to use nanoparticles of titanium dioxide, mix it with the paint, and then it becomes antibiotic surface. But this wall, whole wall exposed to nature, has not a single patch because they had mixed a very simple solution, found a very simple solution. Clay pounded with jute fiber together apparently creates a chemistry which makes it antibiotic. Very interesting. So one can have a very frugal solutions for situation of this kind. And if you want to have a coffee at the top of the Alps, where you've gone for hiking or trekking, there is no other technology than this which will work. You have a pressure cooker, take a firewood, a small stove, steam, generate the steam, and now you can make your coffee. Simple idea, a pressure cooker converted into a coffee making machine. Rozadin in Bihar has done this. Very simple idea. Whole range of innovations based on cycles. Cycle can be used for sprinkling water, as a workshop, for working in the water, for pumping water, for plowing the flower beds or vegetables nursery, for different kinds of activities, for spraying herbal pesticide on the crop, whole range of applications. Now, how many applications do you do? Do you use your cycle for? I mean, the question, legitimate question, isn't it? And if we can use cycle for cutting salad, for cutting vegetables, why not? You will do exercise. Many of you, I see, can afford to lose some weight. And cycle will help you in losing your weight and at the same time do work, become more agile. Agility is a necessary condition for long life. I wish you all long life. So use your cycles for a whole range of innovations. This is another beautiful example of simplicity at its best. You know, when you have this non-stick pan in your home, most of you must be using them in your kitchen. After some time, the metallic surface at the bottom shows up. Where has Teflon gone? It has gone in your stomach. But it was not supposed to be eaten, but we have eaten it. By the way we use the pans and by the way you use the spoons and all that. And then, of course, it causes cancer and 1,000 other problems. This is a clay plate, less than €1 cost. A clay plate, it has pores. You use a food-grade non-stick paint. It goes into the pores. You can't scrape it off. So this is cheaper, affordable. This is efficient. This is safer because the paint doesn't come off. And the food cooked on a clay plate actually tastes better because of the way heat disperses. So you are getting more value from less cost. Professor Dr. Mashelkar, one of our dear friend and chairman of the NIF, often says MLM, more from less for many. How do you get more from less for many? And the person who has developed this innovation has developed many, many things, including a clay refrigerator, a mitti cool, a clay refrigerator. Don't ever call it jugaad. Of course, I don't like that word at all. These are complex designs, though they look very simple. So there are different machines that he has designed. He has designed a circular kiln to bake these things. He has designed himself this machine. He has designed many other apparatus for different kinds of things. Now, this is another example. You have grape vineyards. You know, one of the things in vineyard is, I'm sure most of you know because you all are fond of wine, the roots of the grape must not have a hard surface. So when you do interculture, remove weeds in the grape vineyard, you should not have a heavy machinery. Now, whichever machinery you have, this motorcycle will be lighter than that. So you can use motorcycle to do interculture, to remove the weeds, to do the little bit of crest breaking so that aeration in the root is better and your grapes will taste better if there's better aeration. So you could use this motorcycle for interculture, for ploughing, for various applications. Should accuracy be afforded, should be traded off with accuracy, be traded off with affordability? Sometimes, let us take a medicine, a tablet, which costs €1 and cures the problem 80% of the time without side effects. There's another tablet which costs €100, single tablet, and cures the problem 99% of the time. The companies will tell us, we will work on €100 tablet. But €100 tablet cannot be afforded by a large number of people. So what do? I say, no, let us make a €1 tablet. And there is another beautiful point about that. In nature, you never have to control the problem completely. You bring it below the threshold level. After that, nature takes over. So my body has the ability to heal myself. I bring the disease within the threshold level, after which my body can heal it itself. You work with nature rather than against it, and the system is robust. So long as I keep my ability to heal myself intact by not controlling the disease completely by the external means, the system works much more robustly. I will get less often, I'll get sick less often. So one must ask these fundamental questions about the way we are going to work in future. Are we going to work for that 1% people who can afford 90% of the solutions, but 90% people can't afford those solutions? How do we develop a new way of thinking, of working with nature? Autopoiesis design. This is another approach that I would like to advocate for those who are in the design process. Whenever we develop innovations, can they have the capability to correct themselves? You know, this tree didn't know that it was not supposed to branch. By mistake, it branched. Then it realized, my God, what am I doing? And it made a branch into a stem. It's a real tree. I have not morphed this photograph. In nature, it happens all the time. In our body, a lot of mutations take place. Our body repairs those problems which happen, and we are able to create this model of design, which I call as autopoiesis design, self-correcting designs. Can my products improve in the hands of users? Because they will be able to add value to it. I shouldn't design something which cannot be opened, which cannot be modified, which cannot be made more functional, because there are no mechanisms in that. The designs for future will have multifunctionality, but also modifiability. The users must be able to modify it. This is the triangle which we try to forge. I'm sure anywhere in the world where we have innovation system, we have to forge this triangle. Innovation, investment enterprise. An idea from India can find an entrepreneur in France, and investment can come from France or European Union or US, wherever. That means we can make this triangle happen globally. There is no need why the three vectors should be from a single place. And once we have this attitude in our mind that I'm going to seek ideas from wherever, I'm going to seek investment from wherever, I'm going to be an entrepreneur because I know my products will go world over, a grassroots to global model comes about. Let me give an example of mine to market. This is a cream for psoriasis and eczema. So how was it developed? It was developed with the help of knowledge of 6 different communities. Now, these 6 different communities, as you can see in the second para, names are given of these farmers who represented those communities, had different insights about which plant can be used for this purpose. But all of them separately were not as efficient. In a lab, national product lab that we have in Srishti, we combined them, tested them, found them, did toxicological trials, found them safe, and then we developed a product. All the 6 communities were invited when this product was launched by the company. Now, this is a model where we don't have to rely only on our internal R&D. Today, any company, world over, any major company, you ask them, and they are all on record to say, we will have to look for ideas from outside also. R&D is not equal to innovation always. You cannot say that all good ideas will come only from my R&D team. They will come from outside, and we should be open, and we should be willing to learn from them. This is an example where a product came about. Similarly, food products, we have tied up with a company which owns the largest retail space in India, Future Group, and we have set up a company called as Idea India Ka Innovation Private Limited, where this company will commercialize the products. These ladies, tribal ladies from a region in Gujarat, have given the ideas for healthy biscuits. So what are we saying? We are saying that innovations by common people can find markets around the world. So we have sold things all over the world, and found inquiries from 60 countries, from United Kingdom, from West Indies, from South Africa, Switzerland, Poland, Indonesia, Belgium. Wherever you go, you will find how we did not reach them. They found us out. They found out the Honeybee Network. They found out our database. So what it shows is that a problem solved by a simple farmer, an artisan, or a student in one part of the world could have applications worldwide. And if it does, why don't we speed up this process? Why don't we scale up this process? Why can't we have people-to-people learning taking place much faster and much higher? I mean, Benin, Nigeria, we wouldn't have reached that country at all for these technologies. Here's an example how community innovations emerged. There was a girl had a breathing problem. Her father couldn't afford her to keep in the hospital for a longer period in China. 3 people in the village got together, used an old cycle, a tube of a washing machine, and designed a breathing apparatus. Her life was saved. She's alive and kicking. And an innovation, even for complex problems like breathing apparatus, can come from common people. This is another example. In China, there was a farmer who had to cross a big lake to sell his products. He converted a boat into a car. A simple idea. So you put a motor and wheels, and now you can drive the same boat on the road. Why not? In India, there was an innovator who made a car into a boat. Now, that was the costlier end. Chinese attacked the problem at a cheaper end. You must appreciate that. So there are ideas sometimes, Chinese have about 1.5 billion people, India has about 1.3 billion, and sometime 1/3 of the humanity is struggling with the same problem independently. Before Honeybee Network reached there, they would be solving the same problem, same way sometimes. A cycle-based plow in Maharashtra and India, a cycle-based plow in China. That is the power of Honeybee Network. There is no need for us to rediscover the wheel everywhere, every time. We can use this global pool of knowledge that we are creating and share it with the world at large. So these are the 7 E's that we are trying to combine: education, ethics, equity, excellence, efficiency, empathy, and excellence. I'm not saying in every innovation all the 7 are equally embedded, but we try. We try that all the 7 will be embedded in different proportions in every single ideas. There are different kinds of models of innovation which have emerged. Empathetic innovation. Empathy actually is not a very powerful word. In Sanskrit, we have a word called as samvedana. Sam means equal. Vedana means pain. When somebody else's pain is experienced by me exactly as that person feels. And then that internalization of the pain triggers innovation that is called samvedanshil sarjanshilta, or empathetic innovation. And a lot of innovations are not to solve the person's own problem, but some third party's problem. This world would be much better, much more compassionate, much more collaborative, much more creative, if that spirit of empathetic innovation will advance. So let us see how it happens and how we can see. This is a long tail of innovation. Not every innovation will diffuse widely. And therefore, we should not reject those ideas which don't go very far. So if you look at Amazon.com, or you go to Airport Bookshop has bestsellers. How much time can you spend there? 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You go to a big bookshop having 5,000 books, you can spend days and hours. So we need a rich ecosystem. Innovations which diffuse widely, the bestseller, so to say, but also innovations which only sell 1, 2, or 5 copies. And they are also relevant. So ecosystem will include location-specific, niche-specific innovation for a small valley in France or from a small hill in place. And it will also include innovations which everybody in France will be using. There are different kinds of varieties that have been developed by farmers, HM paddy variety, cardamom variety, and a whole range of herbal pesticides and veterinary medicine have been developed by pooling the best practices of the people. So that I believe that soils should be kept healthy, because soil and soul are linked. If we don't keep soil healthy, we won't make our world healthy. And therefore, the need for using non-chemical alternatives, which we believe in. This is a very interesting innovation. In Tamil Nadu, just 2 rupees, less than a pence, a napkin, sanitary napkin. Only 5% women in India use sanitary napkin, only 5%. And how do we make it accessible unless you make it cheaper? This is the way this person has made. It costs less than rupees 2. And this can, therefore, reach those women who are not able to afford it. This lady has a patent for herbal pesticide from Bihar, the first lady to have a patent. We have in South Africa, we found that this axle had a differential, and because of that, they had to use 3 donkeys. The innovator of ours who went to South Africa said, remove this differential. What is it doing? And then you had saved 1 donkey less. So you are now able to drive this cart with 2 donkeys. Now, I will talk about, just briefly, how can we learn from technology students? So this is the platform techpedia.in, where innovations have emerged from small places, small towns, but also big institutes. 100,000 projects, engineering projects, done by 350,000 students from 500 institutions have been put together. If you ask, many of you are from technology institutions, I'm sure, and if you want to see the projects done by the students in any 2 institutes together in France, or you want to see the projects of Stanford and MIT at one place, you can't find. But in India, you can. Why did we do that? Because we don't want a single student of our country to do what has been done before. The originality quotient of our country has gone up. Because when anybody has to do a project in the final year, the person would search here and find out a project, and now he has to do or she has to do something different, something further, something better. So with one stroke of imagination, and mind you, we did this with our own resources, this platform has made it possible. On this platform, if you go, you will find many, many solutions that people have developed. Look at this. We gave an award, Gandhian Young Technological Innovation Award. She's from IIT Kanpur. She developed a wheelchair, manual wheelchair, to climb the stairs. And look at the innovative part. There are 2 things here. One, you are climbing it backwards. You know, when young kids climb the stairs, they sit backwards. They raise their hips and then go to the next step. She got this idea from there. And then she converted that insight into a product. So I will not take more time. Look at this very interesting innovation in image processing software, which can convert the sign language into text so that deaf and dumb people can communicate with normal people. Very good idea. I would like to refer to one of the refrigerators, central one. All of us have refrigerators. Does any refrigerator give you hot water and hot chamber? No? Isn't it? Now, what has this boy done? He knew that compressor makes heat. Compressor generates heat. And this heat increases the ambient temperature. He put a heat exchanger alongside the compressor, took the heat away, and gave you a hot chamber. So you can use it as a casserole, keep the food warm. A refrigerator which keeps food warm, gives you hot water, and keeps things cool and consumes less electricity, because when you take the heat away from the compressor has to work less. This is the model of innovation that we are trying to share with you. where you consume less electricity, get more output. That is the future. That is the sustainable innovation that we have to develop. But mind you, I must tell you honestly, I won't be able to take it forward unless somebody sitting here joins hand and says, okay, let me take this word over. And once this happens, I think this platform would have served a great purpose by bringing people together from around the world to work on sustainable technologies, green technologies, and in future, the standards of products will change. Nobody will be able to manufacture a refrigerator which does not have a heat exchanger in the compressor. I would not wish, because we have to reduce carbon intensity of our economy. We cannot do that unless we get more output with less energy. There is no way we can do that. These are solutions. The first refrigerator is using LPG gas, the gas that you use for cooking. So you cook in a food court, in a restaurant you go, the food will be cooked and simultaneously things will be kept cool. The third one is a model which shows that exhaust pipe of a car, which is very hot. Now again with the heat exchanger, you take the heat away and cool the driver's cabin. Please don't have an air conditioner in your car. The heat of the exhaust will do that work. These are futuristic ideas. These are the ideas which mean green technologies, which mean, and where are they coming from? They are not coming from top companies or top research institutes. They're coming from very ordinary students, very ordinary colleges, very small cities. And that is the power of innovation in our society, which we must pay attention to. One of the reasons we don't such innovations is what I call as paradox of proximity. We see things with the help of a telescope. Telescope is supposed to see things far, not close. But if we are not tuned properly, if we always believe that things happen very far, we will not see innovation in our backyard. So please appreciate that. Just because something is close, something in the backyard, something a worker in my kitchen or my canteen has developed, should not be ignored. Let us start paying attention to detail wherever the idea, good idea is coming up, wherever it is. So Sashti has this logo, which is a voluntary organization which gave rise to NIF, Gyan and Techpedia and everything else. Give me a place to stand and I'll move the word. Of course, you have heard it before, but we use this in the context of the knowledge that women have and the men have. Shodh Yatra, I mentioned to you that every 6 months we walk in different parts of the country and learn from people by going to their doorstep. We try to develop different products by combining formal knowledge. And mind you, on this package, there is a line. Every consumer is a potential innovator. Show me one product in any mall in France where this line is there. Every consumer of every product is a potential innovator. Imagine if every product had an obligatory line, and if every company became hungry to seek ideas from the users. Can you imagine what will be the limit of creativity and unfolding of the creativity and ideas? I don't know why we don't do that, but it makes sense to me. It makes eminent sense to me that we should ask people to participate in the innovative system. So this was a medicine for typhoid developed by the people, and all these antibiotics, the pathogens on which, the typhoid organism on which these antibiotics did not work, this extract of the plant worked. So sometimes the knowledge of the people can extend the frontiers of science. Things which modern science is not able to do, people's knowledge is able to do. Similarly, for diarrhea, we have found bird repellent. Large number of solutions are coming. This is a food festival. Every year we organize food festival. So in 2000, National Innovation Foundation came about, Gyan, Srishti, Honeybee Network. NIF has mobilized 160,000 ideas from 545 districts of our country. There are about 700 districts. We have mapped the entire creativity of the country. Let me just close by telling you that every country, every organization, every society can learn from anywhere outside the organizations. The former president gives award, our president gives award every 2 years. When head of the state gives award to common people, you create a different statement. And she organizes exhibition in the president's house, so that it makes it even more eloquent. Every year she gives award. This man in blue shirt, not the blue kurta, is James Cameron. He spent 3 hours with us 2 years ago in the exhibition at president's house. And I won't be surprised if his next film might be about grassroots innovations. Watch him. So let us conclude that stairs are not used only for climbing up. They are also used to climbing around in each other's heart. I have come here to build inroads into your heart so that this network will grow into your heart and all of us will think of ourselves as honeybee. Creativity counts, knowledge matters, incentive inspire, and innovations transform, but incentives not just material, also non-material, and not just for individual, also collective. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anil. Alors, il a été très prolixe, mais si vous voulez, you stay with us before lunch.
Okay.
Alors, Anil répondra à vos questions si vous voulez partager avec lui juste avant déjeuner. Ensuite, il ira se reposer. Il reviendra cet après-midi. Et vous pouvez retrouver aussi le documentaire qu'il avait dans la main. On en trouve beaucoup dans l'atrium. Il est venu avec ces petits cadeaux pour vous aussi. Voilà, merci d'avoir été attentifs jusqu'à cette heure. On va aller déjeuner, se restaurer, ça sera très bien. On peut aussi partager, surtout. On continue. Et puis, on se retrouve à 14h30 pour encore 2 moments forts. Ils osent et il faudrait oser. Voilà, ils bousculent les modèles, ils secouent nos certitudes et ils nous offrent de nouvelles visions. Eh bien, on osera découvrir ça tous ensemble cet après-midi. Je compte sur vous. À tout à l'heure. Merci et bon appétit. Thank you.